Welcome to At Best Book Summary. Today, we aren't just summarizing a book, we are building a mental fortress. We are diving deep into the Daily Stoic by Ryan Holiday and Stephen Hanselman. In a world that feels like it's constantly on fire, where distractions are a click away and anxiety is the new normal, most of us are looking for a way to stay grounded. Most self-help books tell you to think positive or hustle harder, but Stoicism is different. It's an ancient operating system for the human mind, used by Roman emperors and slaves alike to endure the impossible. The Daily Stoic offers 366 days of this wisdom, but does reading a few sentences a day actually work, or is it just philosophical window dressing?
To understand this, we must look at the three pillars of Stoicism: the discipline of perception, the discipline of action, and the discipline of will. Let us begin with the first core pillar, the dichotomy of control. Epictetus, who spent his early life as a slave before becoming one of the most influential philosophers in history, taught that the most important task in life is simply to distinguish between what is up to us and what is not. Imagine your life as a circle. Inside the circle are your thoughts, your intentions, and your own actions. Outside the circle is everything else: the stock market, the weather, what your boss thinks of you, and the traffic on your morning commute. Most human suffering comes from trying to push the walls of that circle outward. We spend hours worrying about a comment someone made or a political event we cannot change. When you focus 100% of your energy inside the circle, you become untouchable. This isn't passive acceptance, it is a ruthless efficiency of energy.
Imagine being in a traffic jam. The person outside the circle is screaming at the steering wheel, raising their blood pressure and ruining their day over something they cannot move. The Stoic inside the circle realizes the traffic is outside their control, so they use that time to listen to a book or practice deep breathing. Consider the story of Admiral James Stockdale, a modern-day Stoic who was held as a prisoner of war for 7 years. He credited Epictetus with his survival because he realized that while his captors could control his body, they could never control his mind or his character. He focused entirely on his internal reactions, and that made him unbreakable. This is the difference between being a victim of your circumstances and being the master of your soul. Next, we must discuss the mastery of perception. Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man in the world during his time, famously wrote in his private journals, "Choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed. Don't feel harmed, and you haven't been." This sounds radical, but it is scientifically supported by modern cognitive behavioral therapy. It suggests that events themselves are neutral. They are data points. Only the story we tell ourselves about those events makes them bad or good. If you lose your job, your initial story might be, "I'm a failure and I will be homeless." A Stoic story would be, "The marketplace has changed, and I now have an opportunity to pivot to a higher value skill that I actually enjoy." The event is identical. The perception determines whether you suffer or thrive. Perception is the filter through which you see the world. If your filter is dirty with ego and fear, the world looks dark. If your filter is clear and logical, the world looks like a series of puzzles to be solved. We must also understand the discipline of action. Stoicism is not a philosophy of sitting in a library, it is a philosophy of the street. It asks, how do you treat your neighbor? How do you handle a difficult coworker? Every interaction is an opportunity to practice virtue. Virtue, to the Stoics, was the only true good. Money, fame, and health are preferred indifference. Nice to have, but not necessary for a good life. The Stoics believed that the only way to be happy was to act with excellence in every moment. This means being honest when it's hard, being brave when you are afraid, and being fair when you have the power to be unfair.
It is about moving through the world with a sense of duty and purpose, treating every person you meet with the same level of dignity and respect you would give to an emperor. The third pillar is the discipline of will. This is where we talk about Amor Fati, the love of fate. This is not just gritting your teeth through bad luck. It is choosing to love everything that happens to you because it provides the friction necessary for growth. Friedrich Nietzsche later popularized this, but the Stoics lived it thousands of years prior. Every frustration, every betrayal, and every obstacle in your path is simply weight designed by the universe to build your character. When you adopt Amor Fati, you stop being a victim of your life and start becoming its master. You begin to see every setback as fuel for your fire. It is the realization that you cannot control the cards you are dealt, but you can absolutely love the way you play the hand. Think of an athlete. Does an athlete complain that the weights are heavy? No, they love the weight because the weight is what builds the muscle. Every frustration, every betrayal, and every obstacle in your path is simply weight designed by the universe to build your character. When you adopt Amor Fati, you stop being a victim of your life and start becoming its master. You begin to see every setback as fuel for your fire. It is the realization that you cannot control the cards you were dealt, but you can absolutely love the way you play the hand. You realize that the very thing that stands in your way is actually the path forward. Now, let's address the elephant in the room. Memento Mori. Remember, you must die. In 2025, we are terrified of mortality. We hide from it with plastic surgery, anti-aging creams, and a refusal to discuss the end. But the Stoics wore it like a badge. They didn't do this to be depressed. They did it to be alive. When you realize your time is a non-renewable resource, you stop wasting it on trivial arguments, mindless scrolling, or toxic people. Memento Mori is the ultimate productivity tool. It clarifies your priorities instantly. If this were your last day on Earth, would you be worried about that email or that mean comment on social media? Probably not. You would focus on the people you love and the work that matters. It turns every moment into a gift because you know it is finite. Let's look at a critical comparison. Many popular self-help books today, like The Secret or The Law of Attraction, tell you that if you just visualize success and think positive thoughts, the universe will manifest wealth and happiness for you. Stoicism argues the exact opposite through a technique called premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. While modern gurus tell you to ignore the negative, Stoics visualize everything that could go wrong. They visualize their house burning down, their friends betraying them, and their health failing. Why? So that if those things happen, they are not caught by surprise. And if they don't happen, they appreciate their current life 10 times more. This is a radical form of realism that builds a thick skin no manifestation journal can provide. It's the difference between wishing for a calm sea and learning how to sail in a storm. While books like The Secret focus on comfort and getting what you want, the Daily Stoic focuses on character and being okay even when you don't get what you want. Seneca once said that no man is more unhappy than he who never faces adversity, for he is not permitted to prove himself. This is the core difference. Stoicism values the struggle because the struggle is the teacher. By visualizing the worst-case scenario, you remove the power that fear has over you. You realize that even if you lost everything, you would still have your mind and your ability to choose your character. You become a person who cannot be blackmailed by fate because you have already walked through the fire in your mind. Theory is useless without practice. If you want to build this mental fortress, here is your 7-day Stoic challenge. Day 1. Identify your circle of control. Every time you feel stressed today, ask, is this up to me? If not, let it go.
Day 2. Practice voluntary hardship. Take a cold shower or skip a meal to remind yourself that you can survive without luxury. Day 3. Negative visualization. Spend 5 minutes imagining losing something you love, then spend the rest of the day being intensely grateful for it. Day 4. Practice silence. Listen more than you speak. Day 5. Act for the common good. Do one virtuous act with zero recognition. Day 6. Memento Mori. Carry a coin or a reminder that your time is limited. And Day 7. Review and reflect. Write in a journal like Marcus Aurelius did. This is how you move from a person who reads philosophy to a person who lives it.
Stoicism isn't about being emotionless. It's about being unshakable. It's about building a life that doesn't crumble when the world gets loud. Ryan Holiday's The Daily Stoic reminds us that we have the power to choose our response to every single thing that happens. You aren't a victim of your circumstances. You are the architect of your character. If you found value in this breakdown, hit the subscribe button and join our community of thinkers. Remember, as Marcus Aurelius said, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Now go out there and be the master of your own mind. Thanks for watching at Best Book Summary.